If you are watching this video, it means you have safely navigated your way through the onset of a horrendous, death-defying moment in human life, COVID-19. The aftermath of the coronavirus leaves people vulnerable. Some remain optimistic, finding the strength to recover. Others just leave it all to fate. But one thing is for sure, life will never be the same again. Humans who think they are impervious are starting to change and reevaluate their priorities. You can look at it as being under the influence of coronavirus effect. Our values, our habits, our homes, and our lives are changing. So what would life be like after this pandemic? How do we return to a sense of normalcy after COVID-19? Or is there any hope that we'll return to that life we once lived or knew? Hello everyone, and welcome to The New Normal. Are you ready for this? Let's begin. More than an escape from routine and urban chaos, our homes have now become the only true safe space where we feel somewhat protected. Today, people need a home that can effectively provide that security of distancing and isolation from others. Urbanization, for now, is taking a back seat to a safer and more controlled measures. That said, how do you feel? Do you agree? Do you feel safe in your own home? Or are you worried that even in our own homes, we are still at risk? In the US, the virus has had its toll on many, changing the way we live, forcing us to work and study from home. Face masks and gloves have become part of our new normal, and a requirement no different than t-shirts and shoes. Most beauty salons, barbershops, gyms, and all other retail and small businesses were forced closed. Shopping at most stores required standing in line at the storefront before you were allowed to enter, but yet we carry on. In other countries, such as the Philippines, life in a very economically depressed region forces strict quarantines. Many abandoning their current residences, fleeing their villages, and looking for the best temporary housing they can. Many have no income and have turned to e-commerce to maintain a bare existence. How do we move on in this new normal? How do we find our way? It has in many ways become a survival of the fittest. While this new normal certainly has forced us to live differently, let's turn our attention to the silver lining and what positive effects the virus has produced. The most tangible byproduct of the virus is the time it has given back to families. If you are like many, our lives have become so busy with sports and activities, running every night to one event or another. Yet, with the emergence of the virus, all activities have been ceased. We now have plenty of time. Time to spend with each other, engaged and meaningful. This quality time with our most loved ones is in some circles perhaps one of the most blessed gifts families could receive. Something was restored, which was robbed from us unknowingly. Time is precious, and thanks to COVID, we have plenty of it to now spend in the way maybe it was originally designed. As we transition and think of our most basic needs, we've discussed how shopping has become eventful. In turn, many have transitioned or are transitioning to growing their own food. Growing what you eat is pleasant and gives you some freedom from daily worries and strife, particularly during self-isolation. The pandemic has given organic and sustainable foods a considerable surge in demand. According to Ecovia Intelligence, a research company focusing on organic products, that in France, some organic food shops are experiencing a high increase in sales of over 40%. In addition to making a sustainable living by producing food, Indoor gardens can provide oxygen. Another tremendous benefit that has been created is the ability for the average person and business to reinvent themselves. As a way to survive, many have been thinking outside the box as a way to keep their heads and households above water. Many are turning to e-jobs to sustain them till things start to normalize. Many businesses are starting to look at alternative ways to reach and interact with their customer base, offering services not previously considered pre-pandemic. It has been this ingenuity that helps us say, "We'll find a way." Ultimately, though, our mindset still plays a major role as we continue to live our daily lives. Imagine holding a flashlight. Where is your flashlight pointing? Wherever it may be pointing, you can see the center of the beam is the brightest. The further away you point from the center, the dimmer it becomes. But what does it have to do with your life? This is similar to where we put our focus in our lives. The thing we pay the most attention to becomes what matters the most to us. So, be careful where you point your flashlight. That thing or person can seem so important and critical that we think our happiness depends on it and nothing else matters. If the outcome turns out of our control or favor, we might feel overwhelmed, hopeless, and desperate. Over the past few months, we pointed our flashlights at something external, something that was almost completely out of our control. It dictates our mood and emotion like fear, uncertainty, and worries. As we continue on, let's stay focused, pointing our flashlight inwardly so we can take care of ourselves and the people we love. While we do not know what the future holds or whether we'll ever return to a world we once knew, one thing is for sure: God gives us the grace we need to overcome. Sometimes, no matter how hard we try, we simply spin our wheels. Yes, in those times, which is really all times, especially now, we need to give thanks, knowing that a better tomorrow is possible because of the price that was paid for us long ago through Christ Jesus.